LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X, or is it Twitter, Blue Sky, Threads? There are a dizzying number of social media platforms. So, how does a small business decide where they should be? Today, we're going to talk about the important task of figuring out which social media platforms to be on. So I'm super excited to chat about this topic. I'm Erica Dickstein with Spring Insights.
And I am Kristen Cudd with Spring Insight as well.
Awesome. Kristen, thanks so much for joining me today to chat about this question, which I feel like comes up with some regularity, certainly when we talk to our clients. And as with most things, well, I feel like if we talk about it a lot with our clients, then a lot of other people probably have that same question. So I guess when we figure this out, right, the first thing we're going to ask is, well, where is your audience? You
Exactly.
want to chat about that a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. So it's easy to feel, I think, as a business owner, a little bit pressured to do all of the platforms or they may hear about a particular platform taking off. Like when TikTok absolutely exploded, it was like, everybody's got to be on TikTok. TikTok is where the newest, hottest stuff is, right? But if no one you're trying to reach is on TikTok watching videos, then why should you be on TikTok? You know? So you got to figure out
Yeah,
who is it you're trying to reach and are they on those platforms or not?
absolutely. And then the second question that I think is every bit, by the way, as important as the first question. And you hear the first question a lot, but I don't think you hear this one as much, which is where can you sound authentic and where is your message not going to sound forced,
Right,
right?
right. Because again, it kind of ties into the audience, but it also ties into you as a subject matter expert or as the whatever your business is, has to go along. There's a culture on social media, right? So it, not everybody is built for every single platform, and you have to make sure that it's a good fit for you and what your message is.
Yeah, I think that is a great point. And it's particularly a point where you think about, because if you think about the first question, well, where is your audience, right? There are times where your audience might be on a social media platform and you're like, well, then I should definitely be there. But they might not be talking about whatever the topic is that is being talked about on that subject, on pers- on that platform, right?
That's such a good
So
point. Yeah, I mean, because
yeah,
I'm on Instagram for my personal life, but I'm not following any business people on Instagram. So it's a totally different thing that I'm doing there. I'm getting something else out of Instagram. I'm not going to search for partners or, people to help me in my business on Instagram.
exactly. And I think that's a great point. You're going to like, yes, you are on Instagram, but it is going to be hard to authentically speak to you, I don't know, about like as you said, about partnership or about like some business getaway, because that's not where you're going for that information. But on the other hand, I know you are a yoga person. It might be a place where a yoga studio or where a business that is the place that you would authentically be looking for is going to be able to reach you on that media platform.
For sure. I mean, I want to see pictures of delicious food. I want to see pictures of destinations I want to go to. Definitely yoga studios and fitness studios. But, a financial services firm, I'm probably not looking for them on Instagram.
Yeah, that is a great point. Unless, by the way, actually, though, if they can speak to you authentically by showing you pictures of vacations and retirement and sort of giving you this idea, right? If that isn't something that is authentic to them, then that does make sense. So, where does your message feel authentic and make sense to the people that you're talking about? So, I thought it would be interesting to do a case study here where we talk about a business and I thought, you know what? Let's dissect Spring Insight, our business, and how we decide where it is that we are. So Spring Insight, we're a business to business services organization. Our primary business areas are creating websites, creating marketing, ongoing marketing support programs, which Kristen and I work diligently on together. And then also maintaining websites, right? So that's the stuff that we do. And who is our audience? Our audience tends to be Gen X, much like myself. We have some younger boomers, and I think we've had an older millennial once or twice slip in.
Those on the cusp.
Well, they're going to be pretty much mostly on the cusp in terms of our business, in terms of our business market. So where do we consider our primary business? Well, I mean, it's kind of obvious. It's LinkedIn, right? Because where are people going to be going to talk about business? It's going to be LinkedIn. Now, we know that our audience is on Facebook, so we certainly show up on Facebook. We certainly post on Facebook. And I personally will post on my personal account about business things to keep people aware, because that is still a good place for me to make sure that my personal network knows about the things that I do.
Mhm.
Do we show up on TikTok? We have not. We certainly aren't marking it off, and we might try it out, but that is not a place where we have ever thought, hey, this is where our audience is, and they're authentically going to hear our message about, I don't know, social media, or I don't know, web page headers, et cetera, when we're on TikTok.
Right. But I mean, a good point is also that social media platforms evolve over time. And I think TikTok is a prime example that has
Yeah.
evolved greatly. I mean, it used to just be like dance videos, stuff for the young ones, but like that's changing. That really is. And so you need to, when whoever you partner with for your marketing strategies, you need to make sure that you're keeping your finger on the pulse of those media platforms and how they're changing and evolving, because it may be that your audience is starting to show up there.
It was such a great point. And actually, it is interesting that I picked TikTok in particular, because I have heard we have not done anything on it with the Spring Insight marketing. But I have heard actually that their algorithm can tend towards being very business friendly. So that is why you will not hear me say, and we would never, because you know what? I actually think probably, particularly as we get better and better at creating shorts, we might just show up there, right? So you want to experiment, but you want to pick your core place that you're going to show up. That is going to be the place. This is our home, and we can send out outposts. We can sort of play around in other places, but we need to make sure that our home base is covered. And so for us, that's LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. And for many of our clients as well.
Absolutely. So let's talk about YouTube and where YouTube fits in to all of this, because that actually is super interesting. And as a business who has, I mean, I'm speaking from the Spring Insight perspective, right? We had years of social media that we were doing without having YouTube as part of that strategy, and only recently have made it part of that strategy. So where do you see YouTube fitting into sort of the overall social media sphere?
Yeah, well, I mean, primarily, I find it fascinating as a marketer that I never viewed YouTube 2 years ago as a social platform. Like to me, it was,
Mm-hmm.
this is a place where you go and you find video content and it takes you down a rabbit hole, and they're putting things in front of you that, you may find interesting, you may not. Obviously, the algorithm is extremely complicated and all of that. I think YouTube Shorts has changed the landscape of YouTube quite significantly, and that any business has an opportunity to get their content in front of more people by producing shorts and viewing it as a social platform that you are constantly feeding, right, with new content, instead of just, oh, I have these 5 things that I said and I produce these videos and they're great and people love them. However, you have to, just like any other social media platform, you have to constantly keep it updated, keep it fresh, and put new stuff out there. Again, And a lot of it has to do with favoring the algorithm and getting your content pushed in front of people. But if you want to develop a viewership, then you need to give them new stuff all the time. That's just how it works.
Yeah, such a great point. And what I think is so interesting about YouTube in general, and certainly in our case specifically, is it is its own platform. But in addition to being its own platform, right, it is the place where you post things and you create this content that you might post about on other platforms, right?
Yeah.
So it actually has sort of this exponential or this ability to like multiplier effect where you can use this content that you've created here to feed the other places, which is super, super helpful and has been very beneficial, certainly in the way that we at Spring Insight have been growing our marketing plan.
Yeah, just getting more bang for your buck, if you will, from the content that you're generating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today to chat about this. What a fun and interesting topic. So, for anybody who is listening, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope that if you've enjoyed this, heck, even if you haven't enjoyed it that much, I hope you will.
We hope we
I
have.
hope. No, we have definitely. We definitely hope you have. I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. Every single Tuesday, we put out new content to do exactly what Kristen said, to feed the algorithm, but also to keep our audience up to date and interested in the kinds of work that we're doing. So please subscribe so you can find out when we have new videos, and like this video to make it easier for others to find. And if you are interested in what we had to say, but you're like, what? That's a lot. Get into contact with us. We are happy to help you get this set up for your organization. Our website is Spring Insight, SPRING, It'll be all in the description too. Don't worry about taking that all down. .com, and set up a time for an assessment, and we will chat all about the work that you do and how Spring Insight can be a partner.
Absolutely. Thanks for
Awesome.
watching.
Thank you. Ooh, okay.